2003 Toyota 4.7 liter V8. Thermostat housing is leaking. I'm Brian Essick from How To Automotive. I'm going to walk you through the steps of resealing that. Okay, to get started, I'm going to take off this top cover here with the 10 millimeter bolt here and here, remove that. Then I'm going to remove the air inlet pipe here. Remove the, or loosen the clamp here. And after we get the cover off, there'll be a clamp here and you'll loosen that up. Then you'll pop the vacuum line off here. And then the vent hose off like this port here. Okay, now that you got that off, we're going to also change the thermostat out on it too. Put a bucket underneath. So I'm going to remove the 12 millimeter nut here, the 12 millimeter nut here, and there's going to be one underneath right here. Remove that one, and then the thermostat will come off. Removing the 3 nuts, and you just pull the housing and push it aside like that, and then you'll pop the thermostat out. Now what we need to do is we need to get this hose off. So you can go ahead and use a pair of needle nose pliers or something, or pliers, and squeeze the clamp and slide it back. And then you're going to have to follow the tube down, and you follow it down to about right here on the timing cover, and you have to remove this nut. The squeeze clamp off here, the 10 millimeter nut that's on here. If you follow the pipe down just below the pulley here, there's another one of these 10 millimeter nuts like this right there. I'm going to go ahead and remove the belt. You can probably work around it, but I'm going to do it so I can get it on film. But if you reach around from the side like this, you can get to the bolt. So I went ahead and took the belt off by just putting my my long mountain wrench here on the tensioner and then torquing it over to the left, and then just slip the belt off. And I'll put a diagram in the video for how the belt routes. So go ahead and slip it off, and now with the belt slipped off, you can actually see the bolt, the pipe, follow the pipe down, you can see the nut. So after removing the 2 bolts to hold the pipe on and pulling the hose off, now you can go ahead and remove the 14 millimeter bolt here and the 14 millimeter bolt here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to get a pry bar and kind of pry up on it and break the seal right here. So you're going to break the seal a little bit, and then you're going to twist it left and right and pull out, and there's an O-ring here at this, so you'll pull the housing outwards. Okay, now that the housing is off, you need to clean off it's sealed with silicone and an O-ring. So you need to order the O-ring and change out the O-ring, and then most of it I'm going to scrape off of a razor blade and just scrape the silicone out, and then the groove on the housing I'm going to use like a pocket screwdriver and kind of dig the silicone out of the groove. And then over here on the block, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm just going to use take 90% of it off with the razor blade, and then after I get it all cleaned up, so after scraping off about 90% of the silicone on the housing and on the block, I have used my Scotch-Brite pad on my die grinder here and just hit it real lightly. You don't want to go on it. It's really easy to divot aluminum, so you just want to lightly scuff it. And then the key to getting these to reseal is making sure that there's absolutely no oil or coolant or anything. This surface be completely dry. Both surfaces be completely dry. And then once you're confident that they're both completely dry, if there's any coolant in here, you want to suck it out with like a turkey baster. Here at the shop we have like a little pump tool that sucks it out for us. So I would recommend that you suck the coolant out, so there's no chance of coolant getting on the surface. I'd wipe it down with brake clean, stuff like that, or rags, and make sure this is thoroughly dry. And so after putting a little grease on the new O-ring and putting a layer of RTV on the housing here, like I said before, we're going to stab the hose in first like this, and then we're just going to rotate it in and line it up and pop the start the O-ring like this. You can also use the bolts, put the bolts in and start them, and use the bolts, tighten up them left and right a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right, a little bit left, a little bit right, until it draws it in. You want to make sure you don't pinch the O-ring here, and so you're going to do it until it's flush and tight. You definitely want to make sure you got a nice thin bead of this. If you guys don't have this, I have it available on my website at howtoautomotive.com on the tools and product page. You can get it in smaller tubes. You don't need, this is kind of like an industrial size for the shop, but they have it in smaller tubes. After the housing's on and tight, you can go ahead and put your clamp back on the hose here. You can go ahead and start the nut back here back on, and the bolt that went below down there, go ahead and put that back on, and then you can go ahead and put your belt back on. This is how the belt is routed on this. So after you got the hose re-secured, go ahead and put your belt back on. So now you're going to reinstall your new O-ring on your thermostat, and you're going to put it back in the housing. And with this little nipple, little ball here, you want that upwards, pointing upwards. You don't want it pointing down like this or on the side. You want it upwards, and that's a bleed hole, and you want the bleed hole at the highest point. So when you put it in, it's going to look like just like that. Now you can go ahead and put the lower radiator hose on with the other half of the housing on, and start the 12 millimeter nuts and tighten them up. Now that the housing is back on and secure, you can take the air cleaner itself, flip it back over and put it on, and so you're going to put it back on and just restart the vent hose and the vacuum hose here. And if you took this vacuum hose off in the back, I didn't, I just kind of flipped it out of my way. If you did, reinstall that and then tighten up all your clamps. So after re-securing the air inlet tube here, go ahead and put the top cover back on and tighten the nuts down. And then the next step is we're gonna fill it up with Toyota approved coolant. But I recommend that you wait like 30-40 minutes and let that silicone dry dry a little bit, and that'll reduce the chance of leaks. So after you're confident that the silicone's dry enough to put coolant in it, recommend putting a Toyota approved red coolant in it. Then you're going to start the car and let it run and idle. It takes about 10 or 15 minutes, but you want the thermostat to open up down here. And the safest way to check to see if the thermostat opens up is take a reading before with like a temperature gun like this. Then start the car up, and then when the thermostat opens up, you'll see the temperature jump up probably around a 140, 145, maybe 150-ish. You'll see the temperature jump up with the temp gun. The old school way was you used to be able to reach your hand around back here and kind of grab it, but you got this rotating fan here, so the safest way is to use a temp gun like this. And once the thermostat has opened up, the coolant level may drop. You may have to add a little bit and top it off. And once you're satisfied that the thermostat is open and the coolant is at the proper level, put the radiator cap on and go for a test drive, and that'll complete the thermostat and thermostat housing replacement on a 2003 Toyota 4runner. I'm Brian Essett from How to Automotive. I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos. Encourage you to subscribe and invite you to head over to the howtoautomotive.com website for more valuable videos like this. Thank you again for watching.